It is April 5th, 1923. In a room at the Continental Hotel in Cairo, a wealthy British aristocrat named Lord Carnarvon is burning up with a severe fever. At exactly 1:55 a.m., he takes his final breath. At that precise moment, the electricity across the entire city of Cairo fails. Millions of people are plunged into complete darkness, and authorities have absolutely no explanation for the blackout. Thousands of miles away in England, Lord Carnarvon's pet dog Susie suddenly begins to howl. Seconds later, she drops down dead. Months earlier, Carnarvon had funded the opening of a 3,000-year-old Egyptian tomb, despite public warnings from a famous novelist that disturbing the dead would bring a terrifying punishment. The public looked at the exact time of death, the unexplainable blackout, and the simultaneous death of his dog, and drew a single conclusion. An ancient supernatural entity had been unleashed into the modern world. The world called it the Curse of the Pharaoh. To understand how this panic started, we have to rewind to November 1922 in the desolate Valley of the Kings. British archaeologist Howard Carter was on his absolute last leg. After 15 years of digging and 50,000 pounds of Lord Carnarvon's money spent, he was told this was his final season. If he found nothing, the funding was over. Then, his workers hit a stairway cut directly into the bedrock. They cleared the debris, revealing a sealed door covered in royal plaster. Carter carved a tiny hole in the door, held up a candle, and looked inside. He had discovered the perfectly intact tomb of King Tutankhamun. Inside sat over 5,000 objects, a dagger forged from meteorite iron, a solid gold coffin, and a pristine 10-kilogram golden death mask. But almost immediately, the omens began. Carter kept a golden canary in a cage at his house. One day, his assistant walked in to find a cobra, the ancient symbol of Egyptian royalty, sitting inside the cage, eating the bird. Locals saw it as the dead king's cobra taking revenge. Over the next 6 years, 22 people connected to the excavation died. An American financier visited the tomb and died of a fever the next day. A radiologist who x-rayed the mummy died suddenly. An aristocratic father of one of the secretaries threw himself from a 7th-floor window in London. The death toll kept climbing. In 1926, scientists conducting an autopsy on Tutankhamun's 3,000-year-old mummy found a distinct circular scar on his cheek. It was located in the exact same spot where Lord Carnarvon had received the insect bite that led to his fatal infection. The global press seized the story. The matching wounds, the bizarre string of suicides, and the Cairo blackout transformed a local archaeological dig into a documented paranormal phenomenon. We have the bodies, we have the dates, and we have the headlines. But if we actually subject these claims to basic historical scrutiny, the entire supernatural foundation falls apart. Let's start with the curse itself. Newspapers claimed a clay tablet sat above the tomb, warning that death shall come on swift wings to anyone who entered. Years later, the tomb's security guard confessed. There was no tablet. A reporter asked him if they had found a curse. The guard smiled silently, and the reporter simply made the quote up for the morning edition. What about the blackout? Cairo in the 1920s had a notoriously unreliable electrical grid. Power cuts were a daily occurrence across the city. It was a complete coincidence that the lights flickered out that night. And the simultaneous death of the dog in England? Lord Carnarvon died at 1:55 a.m. local Cairo time. The dog, Susie, died at 4 a.m. local time in England. When you calculate the time zones, the dog actually died a full 4 hours after its owner. The eerie synchronicity never happened. Even the matching cheek scar on the mummy was a total fabrication. It was published by a rival newspaper called the Morning Post. The Times of London had purchased exclusive rights to the tomb story, so rival papers resorted to publishing wild, entirely invented ghost stories to compete for sales. Journalistic spite, fake news, and massive confirmation bias built the foundation of the curse, rather than ancient magic. People really did die, though. Some scientists suggested the victims inhaled Aspergillus lyser, a real fungus found inside ancient tombs that can trigger severe respiratory inflammation. While the fungus was present, it is easily cured by antibiotics and cannot explain suicides or sudden blood clots. To find the real cause, we have to look at the math. This data visualizes a 2002 medical study tracking every Westerner present in Egypt during the dig. It separates the 44 individuals into two groups, the 25 people who physically went inside the tomb and the 19 who stayed outside. The researchers found zero statistical difference in the death rates. In fact, the people who were supposedly cursed to die a swift death lived to an average age of 73, slightly higher than the life expectancy for their social class at the time. The ultimate proof is Howard Carter himself. He discovered the tomb, physically broke the seal, and removed the mummy with his own hands. Carter lived for 16 more years, dying at the age of 64 from natural causes. The data forces a strange conclusion. Physically interacting with King Tutankhamun's tomb actually correlated with a longer life. When you strip away the fake news and the Hollywood monsters, you are left with the reality of who Tutankhamun actually was. He was an 18-year-old boy, born into a royal bloodline riddled with extreme incest. Because his parents were siblings, he suffered from a severe clubbed foot, Kohler's bone disease that caused excruciating pain, and recurring bouts of malaria. That is why they buried him with 130 walking sticks. He couldn't take a single step without immense physical support. His reign was so brief and unimportant that the pharaohs who came after him scrubbed his name from the historical record. They built over his monuments. By accidentally erasing him, they inadvertently hid his location from generations of grave robbers. Ancient Egyptians believed in a very specific form of immortality. Their philosophy stated that a person only truly dies when the living stop speaking their name. Under that belief, Tutankhamun suffered the absolute worst death imaginable. For 3,000 years, humanity completely forgot he existed. By blasting the fabricated story across global headlines, 1920s journalists accidentally granted a sick, forgotten teenager the exact eternal life his religion promised him.